Dad says she can get into this. Do you know how to get it? Can you explain to her? Sure. Yeah, you want to send her down.
Well, that's a good position.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to Drive the Future, a special Ottawa L5 virtual announcement with FedDev Ontario. My name is Sonia Shorey, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President Strategy, Marketing and Communications for Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards. It is truly a pleasure to welcome you, so many dignitaries, innovation champions, partners and representatives from industry, academia, all levels of government, our innovation and investment community to this landmark event. This includes friends, partners, and colleagues from across our region, throughout Canada, and around the world. It is truly a special day for us at Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards, and here in Canada's capital more broadly, and for Canada, one that has been 2 years in the making. And it is one that celebrates some of the greatest differentiators and strengths our region has to offer the world. Thank you very much for taking the time to be a part of it. We know during these unprecedented times, good news is more valued than ever. And we are very grateful to have the opportunity to celebrate safely with you and our virtual community today. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather virtually is the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. And a few housekeeping notes before we launch our online program. Health and safety is our top priority, and it is the driver for our virtual celebration today. We will be sharing photos and videos taken as part of our program that were filmed prior to the onset of the pandemic. We thank everyone for following the important guidelines and protocols established by our health authorities to help preserve the health and safety of our community. We have muted all participants and attendees to avoid background noise and any disruptions today. Thank you for keeping your microphone muted throughout our program. As soon as our formal speaking program has completed, there will be time for media questions. For media, we ask that you please display your name, that it is updated to reflect your outlet as well. The media portion will be moderated and further instructions will be provided at the conclusion of this session. We will wrap up our program with an exciting panel discussion that brings together some of our great industry and innovation leaders from across our technology community. And you may notice that we are recording our program today. We are also live streaming via Invest Ottawa's Facebook page using Facebook Live. Thank you for being with us. It is now my great honor to welcome our very special guest, the Honorable Melanie Joly, Minister of Economic Development and Official Languages, and Minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario with the Government of Canada. Please join me in welcoming her to our virtual stage.
Thank you, Sonia. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you all virtually. A lot of attendees. It's obviously it is great news that we're announcing today. So glad that everybody can be here with us virtually. Of course, I would like to highlight the presence of my dear friend, Catherine Mckenna, who's the Minister of Infrastructure and Communities and Member of Parliament for Ottawa Centre. Kate Young, my Parliamentary Secretary, who's in charge of working with me on FedDev. The Honourable Vic Fideli. Vic, great to see you online with us today, who's the Ontario Minister, of course, for Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. My dear friend, Jim Watson, the Mayor of Ottawa, and also Michael Tremblay, who I got to know a lot over the past months, who's the President and CEO of Invest Canada. There are also many of our caucus colleagues that are on this call. I would like to highlight their presence. Bien entendu, il y a la présence de Francis Drouin, de Marie-France Lalonde, de David McGuinty, de Mona Fortier, Chandra Arya, and Karen McCrimmon. So thank you, folks. Thank you, dear colleagues, for being with us today. Donc, bien entendu, aujourd'hui, on se rencontre parce qu'on a des bonnes nouvelles à annoncer, mais aussi, on veut parler du futur et de ce qu'on veut faire ici à Ottawa. It is clear that COVID-19 has brought us to a level of uncertainty that we've never experienced before. And our economy was going very well just before the pandemic. And we're now in a situation that we never thought could be possible. And of course, the impacts the pandemic has had on our economy and unfortunately on entrepreneurs has been important. But in the face of this challenge, we've seen incredible resilience, ingenuity, and collaboration from Canadian business owners and workers. And clearly, this has enhanced our capacity to innovate in a spectacular way. And the team at Invest Ottawa probably knows a lot about this because they're really at the center of this burst of innovation. Now, when we look at what we've done over the past months, well, we've been there for workers and we've been there for entrepreneurs. From the wage subsidy to the CEBA account, which is the $40,000 loans, and also with the Canadian Emergency Benefit, we've just extended recently. Now, through the regional economic agencies, we've also announced more than $1.5 billion of support for our businesses. And we've been able really to maintain a lot of jobs while continue to work on the creation of jobs. So our commitment right now is really to build back better. And more than ever, we know that we want to create 1 million new jobs during the course of the next months to make sure that we are there for Canadians, that we can help them have access to a good livelihood and great opportunities. When you look at the past week, we announced 5,400 jobs at the Oakville plant in Ontario. We also announced on Friday, I had the chance to announce 500 new jobs in Toronto in the life science sector. And today's announcement is in line with these announcements. Of course, we know that Ottawa is really a hub of innovation. There's 250 companies that are in the sector of communications, and they employed more than 20,000 people. And we know also that Canada's very own, or maybe people in Ottawa will say Ottawa's very own Shopify has this the most important market cap of all Canadian companies, and it's also a pride for us all around the country. And it is based in Ottawa, obviously. But we know that Ottawa is a leader in technologies of the future, such as autonomy and mobility innovation. And so the technology is evolving at an unprecedented rate. And I'm talking about connected and autonomous vehicles. I'm talking about AI, artificial intelligence, intelligent transportation, and also the next generation of networks and smart cities. So we know as we're working on a more connected future, we must test and validate technologies to make sure that these technologies are safe for us and our communities. And that's why the world-class testing facility in Ottawa is extremely important. Most of you know this testing facility as L5, and I won't spoil the surprise, but let's just make sure that we all agree that today's announcement is in line with a next step to L5. It is the first integrated testing environment of its kind in North America. And also, it is where researchers, entrepreneurs, and businesses can see how their tech holds up, their technology holds up under a very tough environment, from our fantastic winter temperatures to our humid summers. So this tech facility opened in May 2019, and it has mainly really put emphasis on connected and autonomous vehicles, or CAV technologies. But I think there's way more technologies that can be supported through these existing facilities, and today's announcement is in line with that. So it is my pleasure to announce the next step to L5, a $7 million investment in the creation of Area X.O, which will provide companies to test their technologies. So this is a great investment for Canada and obviously particularly for Ottawa. Donc ça me fait plaisir d'annoncer au nom du gouvernement du Canada 7 millions de dollars pour soutenir la création d'un nouveau centre de technologie qui va être la prochaine étape à L5, qui était l'endroit où on testait plusieurs technologies en matière de véhicules autonomes à Ottawa. And so with this new center, we will be able to support advanced network technologies and infrastructure, also a cybersecurity innovation lab, 3D printing for rapid prototyping, and a mobile command and control vehicle, which can bring a secure 5G network to any location. It will help SMEs, especially in rural communities across the region, as they can test their solutions right in their own location. So this announcement will create 200 new jobs, and it will also maintain 200 existing jobs. We think that this can also leverage the investments made by industry heavyweights such as BlackBerry, Nokia, and Ericsson Canada. So we can all agree that as we're building back better, we need to invest in the future. And this is certainly the next step to make sure that we can really profit from the best and the brightest minds that will be able to test our technologies and bring us to another level. And clearly Ottawa has its place in that plan, and that's why we're announcing today $7 million. So we've been here throughout the pandemic to support our business owners. We're here now supporting them, but also making sure that we can continue to support them in the future as we're all going through these difficult times, but also that there's lots of opportunities that we must seize. So thank you all. Ça me fait plaisir de vous adresser la parole et bien entendu, ça me fait plaisir de répondre à toutes questions. Mais je pense qu'il y a plusieurs bonnes informations qui vont suivre, particulièrement dans une vidéo qui va vous être présentée maintenant. Merci.
Thank you so much, Minister Joly. We are incredibly grateful for this critical investment from the Government of Canada, for the opportunity to collaborate with you and the team at FedDev Ontario on so many shared objectives. We deeply appreciate your consistent support of our ecosystem and the many innovators and firms we served. This investment in new technologies will catalyze the growth and global success of so many more startups, scale-ups, and SMEs, and help drive Canada's economic recovery. It will also help drive the future. With this generous support from the Government of Canada, we are evolving from the Ottawa L5 Connected and Autonomous Vehicle Test Facility to create new opportunities for more tech entrepreneurs and firms. Any innovation, any sector, any market. We're leveraging critical anchor investments from the Government of Ontario through the AV Innovation Network, the City of Ottawa, and a powerful constellation of world-class industry and post-secondary collaborators to help these firms combine diverse technologies and expertise to achieve breakthrough innovation and global market opportunity. And we're building on the unique attributes, technologies, and outcomes achieved to date with our clients and partners over the last 2 years to help more innovators create, test, and export future technologies and compete with absolutely anyone in the world. We've established a bold new vision to unleash and realize the potential, the power, and impact of visionary technologies to improve our world and human lives. And with a rare combination of technological capability, collaborators, and expertise that cannot be replicated, together, we have created something that is truly unique in the world. It is my great honor, building on Minister Joly's introduction, to welcome you to the futureplex of innovation and collaboration. Welcome to Area X.O. Bienvenue à Zone X.O. Cue that video.
There's a lot of tracks that do testing. There's not a lot of areas where the R&D is happening that leads to the testing. So when we think about what's here, we're not just thinking about cars. We're thinking about military vehicles. We're thinking about first responders that are helping to bring somebody to safety. We're thinking about last mile shuttle services that we can capture the imagination of the public. If you're looking at testing what's coming, that's why you come to Area X.O. Area X.O is future ready.
Area X.O operates one of the most advanced communication test infrastructures in the world. Companies in numerous sectors, including smart farming, have access to our GPS systems, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, LoRaWAN, TV white space, 5G, including millimeter wave, and satellite communication systems.
The potential for the Ottawa Area X.O site is endless, as are smart cities. We are just at the infancy of smart cities. This is just the beginning.
I know we're looking at bringing in, trains and rail stations, building a tunnel here. So they're really looking to the future to understand what does a city need to evolve and how can they make that happen here on site.
I think the objective for a site like this is to provide a platform where you can test and validate your solution in a contained and controlled environment.
Here at Area X.O, there's a huge array of capabilities and solutions, and one of the biggest challenges we see was how do we get that out to the community? How do we bring in the broader innovation centers across Ontario and Canada? And so with the development of the mobile Area X.O Command Center, we can start to do that. We can bring the capabilities right into the local community and start working with small, medium businesses there to bring new solutions that address their local needs.
We work with the hardware companies, all the big names, the silicon vendors that you can think of, and then we empower these systems. So we're sort of that software foundation that again has to be safe, secure, reliable, 100% of the time.
Area X.O is the futureplex of innovation and collaboration anchored right here in Ottawa, Canada's capital. We enable and accelerate the safe and secure development, testing, and application of future technologies. And we're founded on some of the greatest differentiators, expertise, and capabilities that Ottawa has to offer the world. As a global tech hub, we have the highest concentration of technology talent per capita in all of North America. Some of our internationally recognized strengths include cybersecurity and telecommunications. 90% of the telecom industry-led R&D that takes place in all of Canada happens right here in Ottawa. We bring all of these capabilities to bear with our industry partners here at Area X.O.
Being in an area that is snowy and the climate is challenging has really been beneficial in creating surprises of new technology and how we develop that. That's been quite amazing.
For us, coming to this site allows us to do testing in a much more cost-effective way.
There are a number of large companies here we can potentially work with to gain a foothold in different industries, and there are a number of smaller innovative companies as well.
It's a very collaborative environment, and not only are we being able to talk with people on site, the various companies that are here right now within this footprint, but we're working together on projects to bring across North America to showcase not just our company's technology, but collaborative technologies at work.
To have an opportunity to collaborate with such a great organization as Invest Ottawa at their Area X.O site is just fantastic. We're there at the beginning. We get to learn with them. We get to learn with their other partners and collaborators. It's phenomenal.
I love innovation. I love technology. And I think that this site is really a model for us being able to have great technology come together. And then I think Ottawa can be a leader in this space towards Canada and towards the world.
You've got really all of the ingredients of a triple helix model. You've got government, academia, and industry together, and that to me is exciting. That's really why I think the future is very bright with Area X.O.
At Area X.O, we have established big, audacious goals, and they're the goals of the entrepreneurs and the firms that we serve. We know it will take strong collaboration to help us achieve them, and fortunately, we work with some of the greatest partners in the world. Deep thanks once again to the Government of Canada and to FedDev Ontario for the generous investment announced today, and to the following founding partners who have made critical anchor investments in what was formerly known as the Ottawa L5, now Area X.O. The Government of Ontario through the AV Innovation Network managed by the Ontario Centres of Excellence, Accenture, BlackBerry QNX, the City of Ottawa, Ericsson, Juniper Networks, the National Capital Commission, Microsoft, and Nokia. Our founding research sponsors and partners, Algonquin College, Carleton University, La Cité Collégiale, the University of Ottawa, our sponsor, FCC, and new industry partners that are making a significant contribution through this FedDev project, Hexagon AutonomouStuff, InDro Robotics, and Kongsberg Geospatial. We are very grateful for your partnership, and together with the greatest innovators in Ottawa across Canada, we will drive the future. It is now my great honor to introduce the Honorable Catherine Mckenna, Minister of Infrastructure and Communities and Member of Parliament for Ottawa Centre.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. We just joked that that's going to be the hashtag for this year. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Thanks very much, Sonia, for introducing me. Alors, je suis très heureuse d'être là avec l'honorable Mélanie Joly. Elle travaille très fort pour supporter nos entreprises. Thank you very much, Melanie. I know how hard you and your team are working, including Kate Young, your amazing parliamentary secretary, to really be supporting businesses at a time where we really do need the support. I also want to recognize Minister Fedeli, Vic. It's great to have you joining as well. And of course, my good friend, Jim Watson, the mayor, who's been a huge champion for our city. And I want to give a shout out. We have many MPs, local MPs on the line, but in particular, Chandra Area. He has been a tireless promoter of Invest Ottawa, including of this particular project in his riding. And I think it's incredibly important because people may not know this. And I think Sonia pointed this out, but Ottawa is Canada's tech hub. So you heard it here, Ottawa is Canada's tech hub. That is true when you look at a number of metrics, but also, as you've heard, you look across the community that we have amazing businesses, we have startups, we have businesses that have been here for a long time in the tech world. We also have the unique position of having universities and colleges that are really engaged in the space, and we have great organizations like Invest Ottawa. So we're in a very challenging time, and I know I want to speak in particular to the businesses that are really suffering. We're now having to close down some of the aspects of businesses, and I know that's really hard. And once again, I want to point out that Minister Joly has been working tirelessly to support businesses. And so encouraging everyone who's listening to look at the new supports that we've announced from the new Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy. I've heard directly from businesses in the riding of Ottawa Centre that I'm very proud to represent, that not being able to access the rent subsidy directly was a real challenge. So we've changed that. We've also extended the wage subsidy. I know that's a real lifeline to businesses. And we've expanded CEBA, so the supports to businesses, which I know are really important, and also the Safe Restart Agreement, which has made a real difference. I know the city has appreciated that supports that we've given for personal protective equipment, for long-term care homes, for affordable housing, and then of course for public transit, which is incredibly important as we restart our economy, but also how we get essential workers, kids, people to and from school and work. And I just want to note that my focus is very in line as Minister of Infrastructure and Communities with what we're seeing today. When I came into the job, my focus was getting projects approved quickly that make a real difference in lives and people in the community, and working with different levels of government. And that's exactly what you're seeing here, and with great organizations and businesses. Two, creating jobs and growing the economy. It could not be more important that we do this, that we are in the biggest recession since the Great Depression. So we absolutely need to be focused on creating jobs. And third is creating cleaner and more inclusive communities. And as we've heard, that this announcement has that impact as well. When you look at many of the technologies, looking at autonomous and electric vehicles. So I guess first of all, I just want to give a huge congratulations on the new brand launch, Area X.O. I first heard about this project 18 months ago, and so I should also give a shout out to Jan Harder. I know she's out there somewhere. Jan, you were the one who was so enthusiastic about this project, as well as your Smart Farm project, which I understand is doing extremely well. And this is way more than about a name change. You saw the video. I think that this is about being a center of excellence. And I love the ambition, because I think we have a huge opportunity to be more ambitious as a country, as a city. And this is an example of just doing it and getting it done. And I know a lot of people came together to have these world-class testing facilities be available, that advancing safe development, validation, implementation of new technologies, including autonomous vehicle technologies. But I think you've seen the scope. It's extremely broad. It's a whole range of different folks that can use this testing facility, which I think is really important. And now with the $7 million from FedDev Ontario, you're going to be able to take it to the next level. And we talked about jobs. Jobs are really important. So maintaining 200 existing jobs, creating 200 new jobs. But I assume that that's understating the real impact, that the impact will help galvanize the community. It'll help attract new investment, new businesses. It really will cement Ottawa as a tech hub, which I think is really incredible. Alors, quand on regarde qu'est-ce qui l'annonce aujourd'hui, avec les 7 millions de dollars de FedDev Ontario, il va permettre d'apporter à la zone X.O des capacités uniques à l'échelle mondiale. Alors, on a des rêves qui sont très grands ici à Ottawa, et on va les voir passer au niveau supérieur. Un bon nombre de ces technologies contribuent à la construction des collectivités plus sûres, plus propres et plus efficientes et efficaces de l'avenir. Cela me tient particulièrement à cœur. Ce ne serait pas une surprise pour tout le monde en tant que ministre de l'Infrastructure et des collectivités. As a local member of parliament, I think one of the best parts of my job is being able to take the time to recognize people and organizations that are working really hard to strengthen our local economy, create jobs, to innovate, and to think big. And I think we can all agree that our host today, and I guess, Michael, I don't know how I forgot you at the very beginning. Sorry, Michael Tremblay, with your team, Sonia and others, that you've really been a driver in propelling innovation and new technologies forward, but also supporting so many Ottawa businesses and startups. Alors vraiment, Invest Ottawa joue un rôle tellement important dans l'écosystème de notre ville. Vous êtes toujours là pour supporter les entreprises, mais aussi vous avez une ambition que j'admire beaucoup, beaucoup. I want to thank you for your dedication and leadership, and I love it when you can actually see ideas come to fruition. So this was 18 months ago that we were sitting talking about this opportunity, and now we're seeing it come together. You have different levels of government, major industry players, small businesses, startups, post-secondary institutions, and and a number of other strategic partners coming together to build on collective strengths. I'm committed to working with you. We are going to make it through this pandemic, and we're going to build back better, and we're also going to create new jobs, and we're going to do even more to cement Ottawa as a tech hub, but as a place where folks want to come, want to invest, want to raise their families. And that's not just good for Ottawa, that's not just good for Canada, that's good for the world. Alors, félicitations à tous, congratulations to everyone with the success of Area X.O. Thank you, merci.
Thank you very much, Minister Mckenna. It's now my honor to introduce the Honourable Vic Fedeli, Ontario Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you to Ministers Joly and Mckenna and all of the team at FedDev Ontario, and also to a good friend, Mayor Jim Watson. Good morning, Mayor, and good morning to everyone. Michael and your team at Invest Ottawa, thank you for the invitation to join today's exciting announcement. It's great to be here with everybody. And congratulations on expanding the L5 program and the birth of Area X.O. This is wonderful, and it's an important part of the province's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network, AVIN as we call it. This expansion will accelerate innovation in the growing connected and autonomous vehicle category right here in Ontario. We are home to some of the world's top talent in the auto and tech sectors. So it's only natural that we're a leader in connected and autonomous vehicles, which brings these two strengths together. In fact, Ontario is home to more than 250 companies developing connected and autonomous vehicle technologies, and we want to see that grow even more. And that's why our government is proud to support Ontario's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network, AVIN. So this is one of Ontario's flagship programs for connected and autonomous vehicles and intelligent transportation system. It supports everything from research and development to talent development to regional technology development sites, including this one in Ottawa. Ontario has generated incredible momentum when it comes to emerging technology in the auto sector. And building on this momentum is part of our government's 10-year plan for the auto sector. We call it Driving Prosperity. Our plan is based on 3 pillars. The first is fostering a competitive business climate through actions like streamlining our approvals and compliance approach and reviewing industrial electricity pricing. The second pillar is innovation. We're providing new supports for supply chain modernization and competitiveness and for connected and autonomous vehicle technologies. The third pillar is talent. We're fostering new internship and training opportunities and developing a talent roadmap and a skills inventory. Just last week, with Premier Doug Ford, we announced our government matching a $295 million investment with the federal government to retool Ford of Canada, their Oakville assembly complex, into a global hub for battery electric vehicle production. This $1.8 billion investment represents one of the most significant investments in the province's auto sector in a generation. Any region seeking a long-term future in auto manufacturing must be adding value at every stage of the supply chain, particularly in the 2 technologies shaping the next generation of vehicles, zero emissions and connected and autonomous. Bolstered by strategic government partnerships, Ontario is now at the leading edge. This ongoing collaboration between industry, government, and labor is essential as we face the immense economic challenges of COVID-19 and as we build for the future. We know we have an opportunity to leverage the province's unique blend of auto and tech expertise to design and build the next generation of vehicles and the next generation of jobs. Projects like Area X.O, this will help keep our momentum going and reinforce Ontario's position as the global leader in connected and autonomous vehicles. Congratulations to everyone, and I will beg forgiveness, Ministers Jolie and Mckenna. Minister Ng is on my other line, so have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you very much, Minister Fedeli. We appreciate you being with us. And it is now my great honor to introduce His Worship Jim Watson, Mayor of Ottawa and co-chair of Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards.
Well, thank you very much, Sonia, and Minister Jolie. Toujours un plaisir. We had a great chat earlier today, reminiscing a little bit about the wonderful tourism development that took place during 2017 when the minister was responsible for Canadian heritage. So it's great to have you virtually in our city again, Minister. And of course, Minister Mckenna, one of our local ministers who does such a great job representing cities and communities around the country, but particularly our needs for infrastructure. It's always a pleasure to be with Catherine and Minister Fedeli, who is very popular and long-serving mayor of North Bay. He understands the challenges and opportunities of municipal government. And to the members of Parliament, MPPs, members of City Council, the Board of Directors of Invest Ottawa, particularly, as Catherine pointed out, Chandra Arya. He was on the first Invest Ottawa Board of Directors with me many years ago. So it's great to have this announcement taking place in his riding. Alors, bonjour tout le monde, et au nom de la Ville d'Ottawa et de mes collègues du Conseil municipal, c'est un plaisir pour me joindre à vous virtuellement aujourd'hui. My thanks to our event host, Invest Ottawa, and the great work that Michael Tremblay continues to do, along with our co-chair Susan and Sonia and Kelly and the whole team at Invest Ottawa, who are doing some remarkable work, and this is just one more example of that. I also want to thank representatives from our local business community who are participating as part of the panel discussion. Thank you all for being here. Merci pour votre participation. I want to begin by thanking our federal government partners for the significant investment in Area X.O. This is a landmark announcement event for our global technology hub and the many innovators, startups, scale-ups, and multinationals we serve in Canada's capital, and those we collaborate with across the country and really around the world. The investment in the new technologies at this facility will further strengthen Ottawa's capabilities and reputation as a global technology hub, and importantly, will drive our cities and our country's economic recovery as we battle through COVID-19. This is a very exciting initiative for our city and one that advances our smart city strategy. I'm pleased to announce today the Ottawa Smart Farm, with agriculture being one of the sectors being focused on at Area X.0. This is just one of the ways Ottawa is capitalizing on the technological capabilities at Area X.0. The Smart Farm consists of 2 working fields of approximately 100 acres and several demonstration fields. I remind people all the time, particularly ambassadors who come to visit me, that Ottawa is made up of 82% of our landmass as agricultural, rural, and forest. Most people don't really see Ottawa as that, but in fact, it's 82%. And we're going to use that advantage to pilot cutting-edge agricultural technologies to support the future of farming. We have about 1,200 active farms in the City of Ottawa. Nous utilisons pour piloter les technologies agricoles de pointe afin de soutenir l'avenir de l'agriculture ici à Ottawa. I want to extend my sincere thanks to Jan Harder. Jan has been the driving force of this particular project with precision agriculture and smart farms, making Ottawa a leader in this category. And Councillor Harder recognized early on the unique opportunity to support the agricultural community in the Ottawa region, which is a vital section of our economy. The Ottawa Smart Farm at Area X.0 aims to support our important agriculture sector at a time when uncertainty is high due to the changing climate, price instabilities, access to labor, and now a global pandemic. Smart farming is about helping reduce uncertainty for producers by providing them with information and tools to make evidence-based decisions. And smart farming can save the producer time and money. It can also support more sustainable agriculture and build resilience. In this sense, the Ottawa Smart Farm really is growing the future. It's not often that the city participates in a nationally significant project. The Ottawa Smart Farm is part of a Canadian network of smart farms that are working together to share learning and drive innovation across the country. These kinds of industry-led collaborations, supported by government and academics, are central to the smart economy. Nous créons de nouveaux emplois et des opportunités dans notre région. And we know that this is important, especially now. So in conclusion, in addition to being a world-class technology hub, Area X.0 is strategically located between the Department of Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada's headquarters and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency's laboratories. It's literally right in between those two. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our federal partners at Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada who can continue to support this initiative. These combined assets are what make the Ottawa Smart Farm unique and are resulting in some of the collaborations you will hear about later today. At Area X.0, innovators can test and develop products safely and securely, and the site is also ideal for demonstrations and training. One project underway at the Ottawa Smart Farm is comparing sensors. This is being done to support companies developing them and share information with producers. And our post-secondary institutions are also helping to process massive amount of data being collected. All the data is collected live and can be quickly displayed in the Area X.0 command center or anywhere in the world. And we know that connectivity remains a core challenge to the agricultural sector. So we know that this is important for Canadian farmers, and our team at Area X.0 continues to innovate while helping diversify Ottawa's economy. Of course, I'd like to thank our partners at Invest Ottawa, as well as our city staff involved in this initiative for the fantastic work that you have done and continue to do. This is truly an exciting initiative for our city. I know that Councillor Keith Eglai, whose ward includes the site, is very supportive and excited, as of course is Jan Harder. I look forward to the opportunities that Invest Ottawa and the city are cultivating through the federal government's support, and I'm proud of all the team and what they've accomplished in a relatively short period of time. Encore merci beaucoup, Madame la Ministre, les deux ministres pour l'appui du gouvernement du Canada, and I'll hand it back to Sonia. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Michael Tremblay, our President and CEO at Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards.
Thanks so much, Sonia. And I can't believe today is finally here. So much work has gone into today, and I'm just so very grateful. And I do want to recognize a few people as part of my opening comments. Firstly, FedDev Ontario has been a long-term partner of our site here at Bayview, from the establishment of our prototyping lab here through to our cybersecurity center, and then ultimately the scale-up programming, most recently the Digital Main Street program, which Minister Joly announced recently, and now today. So we're very grateful for the support and the belief in our vision and mission. And Mr. Joly, to you and your staff, thank you so much for your leadership as we all look to the future towards driving jobs, wealth, and prosperity for our country. Thank you for that. I'd also like to acknowledge James Meddings and his team within FedDev Ontario. They've been incredible partners to work with, and we're very, very grateful to their efforts and their support along the way. Minister Mckenna, to you, thank you for your ongoing support, in particular of our work at Bayview Yards. You always take an interest in what we do here, and we're very, very thankful for everything that you do for us as we work to navigate some difficult times together. Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge the Ontario government. We got into the autonomous vehicle game with industry, which then led to investments by the Ontario government in our region through Ontario Centers of Excellence. We've already heard of the Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network. This has been a very successful program, and in Ottawa, we've taken full advantage of that programming to make sure that we're really helping every single company we can with that investment. So building from that investment and the many industry partners that have helped to support us, we've come to today's announcement. So we're very grateful for that. I'd also like to thank the City of Ottawa. Mayor Watson, as our co-chair of Invest Ottawa, you have been a steady contributor and ally in the programming we do. You believe in our mission. You are constantly helping us. Thanks to you, thanks to the city staff, Area X.O is largely established for those that have had a good chance to look at our video here. A lot of the work that's been done on site has been done actually by the City of Ottawa. They've been incredible partners, whether it's the transportation team, the economic development team, OC Transpo, Ottawa Hydro. We've had so many supporters that have gotten us to today. So thank you so much. I can't imagine a better partner than the city. And of course, the industry players that Sonia has gone through and our post-secondary organizations. You've been very engaged all the way through. Thanks for believing in our vision. Thanks for helping us to create and build Area X.O. We're very, very grateful. So what is Area X.O? I think the video actually gave you a sense of what we're doing today. All of the video that you saw this morning really illustrate the art of what we're doing today. But we are looking to the future. We believe we've created something very, very special that helps to amplify the great capability that exists within Canada's capital. And we're looking to the future. I believe we're just getting started. There is so much potential here to put Ottawa, Ontario, and Canada on the global map. What a great opportunity for all of us. We've described Area X.O as the futureplex of innovation and collaboration, meaning that we have created an immersive, safe, and secure micro city. And this is perfect to help companies to innovate by taking advantage of the testing, the prototyping, and the training capabilities that we have on site. We even have a view that we could become a certifying body at some point for advanced mobility solutions. And so we're keeping an eye to the future with that as well. And this really builds upon the great platform technologies that have been built into this micro-city environment. Sonia mentioned earlier mobility and cybersecurity. These are key tenets of the Ottawa landscape. And these are the capabilities that, in addition to infrastructure, makes all the difference in the world as we look to compete in global markets. For innovators big and small, the marginal cost of testing has just come down dramatically. We're reducing barriers to entry for you. We're helping you to directly compete and scale your business in world markets. So we look forward to how that will all unfold. So let me unpack the strategy a little bit more. So why are we doing all of this? It starts with the unique attributes that characterize Ottawa. We're a government city, we're a capital city. So that comes with regulators and policymakers and 65 research labs, which I believe is one of the reasons why we have such a rich industry environment of tech organizations. Over 1,800 tech companies are in Ottawa. We have a higher density of tech labor pool than even San Francisco at 11.3%. It's a big deal, and having both government and industry is not where the story ends. We have an incredible academic system with post-secondary capability that produces one of the larger and highest quality producers of STEM talent every single year to fuel our growth. And so we're very, very, I would say lucky to be in a position like this with all of these ingredients. I'd like to say secondly that one of the strategic directions we took here was to compete through market-led innovation. And so the idea of market-led innovation is basically building regional capability towards being able to attack some of the world's big problems. I think it's always better to embed yourself in sector problems rather than showing up as an individual tech company with a solution looking for a problem, one global client at a time. I'd like to summarize that point by saying that in Ottawa, we travel in packs. We take advantage of our local capability and we bring that to the world. Area X.O makes that possible. It makes us take it to that next level. And then the final point on the strategy that I'd like to make is this is really around helping Canada to be competitive and being thought leaders on the world stage for the development and the ongoing direction of mobility scenarios. And we've selected a number of target markets that we think are incredibly important going forward. We've talked about smart farming. We've got the 100-acre smart farm already in production underway. We have a lot of focus on first responders, recognizing the power of mobility in helping to fire up those use cases. Defense and security. Ottawa is full of defense companies and of course, defense organizations. And so for us, that's a natural. And of course, autonomous vehicles, whether they're in the sky or on the ground, these are great opportunities for the future. And so being organized around this in a market-led way and taking that story to world market is around having a little Canadian swagger out there. And I believe that this positions us very well to showcase the very best of our country. And finally, I'd like to say that the world needs Ottawa. We can help to solve some of the world's big problems. I'll use a simple example that may not be obvious to everyone. Almost half the world still does not even have internet access. And when I think of our capability in the area of telecommunications and cybersecurity, we can play an incredible role in bringing that issue to rest. And so I look at that and I would say that what we announced today is Ottawa's Skunkworks supercluster. We built this from the ground up based on regional capability, which is based on generational skill and talent. We're so very fortunate to have the ingredients that we have here in Ottawa. With these investments, we're going to help to build, accelerate, and scale companies. Minister Joly, we're going to be driving a lot of jobs, and we really are very grateful for your investment and your belief in us so that we can make this happen and drive the future together. I'd like to close by taking a moment to thank the incredible staff of Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards. Today, we're just really discussing Area X.O, but our programming has never been heavier. We are doing more now than we ever have as a company. And I know we're stretching all of you a great deal at this point, and I'm very, very thankful for all of your work. today is really a celebration of the work that you do every day. I want you to know that I'm very proud to be among you. We're very fortunate, and we're going to be very active in the recovery going forward. Thank you very much. I'm going to return this back to you, Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike, for your leadership and your inspiration. It is now my pleasure to introduce the media Q&A that will take place, and I am going to hand the microphone over to Catherine Mounier-Desrochers, Press Secretary for our Minister, and she will facilitate this important session with the media here today.
Hi everyone. So my name is Catherine. I'm Minister Jolie's Press Secretary. We will now be able to take questions from the media. Donc, on va pouvoir passer à la période de questions des médias. If you're media and you have a question, please use the raise your hand function on the side, and please state your name and your media outlet. We'll start with Bruce from the Ottawa Citizen. You're now unmuted. Bruce, I think you've received a request to unmute. If you can click on it, you'll be able to ask your question.
My apologies. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, my question is for Mike Tremblay. The L5 has been open now for a year and a half, or running for a year and a half, and I'm wondering what the status is on autonomous vehicles in Ottawa. How is the development going? When can we expect to see them? That sort of thing.
Actually, the development of autonomous vehicles in Ottawa has been ongoing for many years. I think if you look at L5, we have testing happening pretty much every day. And a lot of that is because of the existing industry that's here. QNX, for example, has been running their autonomous Continental on site since we opened the facility. We actually have several SMEs that are on site testing their autonomous vehicles. And as you saw from the video, we have an autonomous Lexus SUV that has been outfitted by one of our tenants at Area X.O, AutonomouStuff. They actually took a commercial Lexus and they converted it into a fully autonomous vehicle on site. So we actually have capability on site today, and we have SMEs on site today that are doing testing.
And when will I see it on Bank Street?
Oh, okay. So you may see, I would say that over the coming year, you will see testing happening on city streets.
Okay. And any idea longer term?
So longer term, what I think you'll see from the companies that are active in this marketplace, a lot of that depends upon societal acceptance of these technologies and how our regulators and policymakers work to open up how these markets will work. And so I think it will come down to that. But what you're seeing from our companies is that they are constantly delivering new technologies that are actually commercially viable today. And the simple example that we would use goes back to QNX. They're embedded in over 175 million cars today, and their technologies are there for safety and security. They're active today. So you'll see gradual implementation of these technologies. Bruce, what you'll see us do as a company is we'll be getting behind prototype projects to gradually show the public what it looks like to actually be engaged in autonomous vehicles, how that will affect their day-to-day lives. We ran one last summer at the Brook Street Hotel between the Brook Street and the Marshes Golf Course. We ran Origo pods over a 3-day period, and we did that in partnership with Origo, the company, and with Transport Canada. And they spent a lot of time talking to the ridership just to understand what the societal responses were for seeing these kinds of technologies deployed. So you'll see it gradually happen. We have some plan now. You'll see that happening over the next year.
And lastly, does today's announcement, I mean, which is really sort of an expansion of L5 into Area X0 with lots of other things, will the extra money affect what L5 was doing prior?
Oh yeah, without question. So if you look at the site today, and we will have very carefully managed tours by some of the press today. We have EV chargers, so level 2, level 3 EV chargers. We have a new railway crossing that has been set up. So if you're testing autonomous vehicles have to know and identify a railway crossing and be able to respond accordingly. So we have brand new technology there. We have a new command center, which you would have seen in the video, which essentially is Area X.O on wheels. It's got everything in there. It's got a Kongsberg air traffic control center in the center of it. It flies Nokia drones. We have Microsoft Edge servers that are embedded. We have just a wide variety of technology in there. We can pretty much light up any rural location using that van, spool up a 5G network. You can imagine if you're a first responder, there's use case scenarios there that they would be very interested in. So the amount of new equipment that we have to help bring the marginal cost of prototyping down for small companies, it's a game changer, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Bruce, it's Mélanie Joly. If I could add to that, how we see it as a government is this is really following the Oakville announcement, the Ford zero emission vehicle plant. This is a step forward to the creation of a made in Canada autonomous vehicle and also a made in Canada zero emission vehicle. So we want to make sure that the entire supply chain around the creation of autonomous vehicle is able to have access to testing facilities. That way, the entire supply chain is able to support the investments that are big companies, automobile companies are making. So that's why it is important to support both at the same time. Big companies, but also the entire SME, so the small and medium-sized businesses that are part of the supply chain. And to do that, we need that testing facility.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Bruce, for your questions. We have Mr. David Sully. Please just state the media outlet you're with, and we'll do one question and one follow-up. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, David Sully here from the Ottawa Business Journal. Mike, how are you?
Good, thank you. Just working the AV system here.
Yeah. I hear you. Technology. Well, Mike, I just want to know, we talked a lot about some of the key investments today. What about from a local perspective? How many locally based SMEs are we talking about here involved in the track, and what will their contribution be?
So it's happened over the last few years. It's happened very gradually. So we've brought online a fair bit of capability. There have been hundreds of different SMEs that have touched in some way our site. We're trying to do as much as we can to convert to projects so that we can actually not only help to support their ambitions, but also bring projects online where we can actually include local SMEs in the delivery of those projects. So in other words, if we're doing our best work, not only are we helping to fan the flames of our company's ambitions, but we're also creating market opportunities where they can be rewarded and part of projects that they can use as a reference and for cash flow. I believe that during the course of the year, we'll easily hit 30 to 50 companies in a very direct, meaningful way with the infrastructure that's there. I think that we're only limited actually by our operational staff at this point. So we have a lot of good infrastructure in place. We're bringing online projects, as I've mentioned. I would say that's the next challenge for us to tackle. But I would say between 30 to 50 a year, we'll be able to provide very deep programming too, and several hundred a year that are kicking tires, pun intended.
Thank you, David. Do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, just about the smart farm. Like what can you give some examples of what sorts of projects are going to be done there, and why you think, you've talked about to me in the past, but why Ottawa can be a real player in this space?
Yeah, great question. So the secret sauce of Ottawa is the telecommunications and the cybersecurity piece. in addition to companies that are really great at just general tech with embedded software, that kind of thing. So if I look at what we're doing on the smart farm today, we have companies like Trimble, we have Jordan, who will be on the panel a little bit later, that are actually delivering precision agriculture scenarios, leveraging that next generation networking capability. So it's the mobility piece that actually enables it. And then we have local companies that have that ability to take it and innovate the last mile. In this example, being able to have an acre of land that can produce a lot more soybeans or corn than it could without providing a very specific specialized approach to precision agriculture. And I'm sure we'll hear from Jordan later on about that. So what does Ottawa do uniquely? We bring the capability of mobility together. It's a very unique formula that we have. And I can tell you from the work we did with Accenture and doing a global environmental scan from what we've actually put together here at the Area X.O site, this is a very unique capability we've brought together in one location. We have not seen anyone else with this level of integrated technology to be able to showcase real world use cases, whether it's agriculture in this question, David, or first responders, or you pick a topic. There are numerous clean tech scenarios that we could be able to implement using simple things like our chargers that have been installed on the site. Those are actually platforms for doing clean tech hacking. So there's a lot of opportunity that way as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll take one last question from Cassie. So please state your full name and your media outlet, and we'll do one question, one follow-up.
Alors, bonjour. Vous m'entendez? Bonjour et puis merci déjà pour la présentation. J'ai deux questions déjà à poser, c'est une bonne nouvelle. La première question, c'est quelle est la procédure éventuelle pour éventuellement faire partie d'un programme? Parce que si éventuellement vous voulez tester, valider une solution, quelle serait la procédure pour être en contact avec ce centre-là? La deuxième question, c'est éventuellement, quand on parle de véhicules connectés, on parle éventuellement de 5G et de DSRC. Quelle est la technologie qui est présentement utilisée présentement dans le cas de cette compagnie-là?
Monsieur Cassé, pouvez-vous répéter votre deuxième question? Le son n'est pas très bon. Pouvez-vous seulement répéter, peut-être un peu plus proche du micro, s'il vous plaît?
Ça va maintenant?
Oui, c'est mieux, merci.
Quand on parle de véhicules connectés, normalement, la technologie qui vient en tête, c'est la 5G et puis les technologies à partir du DSRC actuellement. Quel est le statut en fait, du déploiement de la DSRC au niveau de la ville d'Ottawa? Parce que je n'ai pas d'informations là-dessus, mais pour la 5G, les compagnies sont en train de travailler là-dessus. Laquelle des deux technologies qui pourraient être utilisées éventuellement? Merci.
Mike, maybe you want to answer a question about the question of the procedure to have access to the testing facility and this new testing hub.
Yes, thank you, Minister. And I apologize for the name like Tremblay. I do not speak French. My mother, God rest her soul, was a Turner, so, mother tongue. So yes, actually the simple way to access to our capability here in Ottawa is through our brand new website, which is online, I think right now, Sonia, if I'm not mistaken. So it's www.areaxo.com. And there is an enormous amount of content waiting for you and an intake process, which we will be very happy to respond to. That's the simplest way to reach out. If you have any difficulty, reach right out to me, Mike Tremblay, mtremblay@investottawa.com.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Merci pour la question. Catherine?
Thank you very much for your questions. So I'll get back to Sonia for the rest of this great panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Catherine, and thank you to all of our leaders. We are now going to prepare for an exciting panel where we are bringing to you companies and innovators that are benefiting directly from the capabilities that exist at Area X.O. We will take a moment to get the technology reorganized, and we will be right back with you as we pull forward those panelists. Bear with us for about 6 minutes. And we are now moving forward our panelists. I'm delighted because I've had the opportunity to work directly with the talented women and men that you will see on this panel, and we are delighted to welcome back Minister Joly, who will facilitate today's discussion. Minister Joly, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. So just a second. Okay. So it is a pleasure to introduce to you great entrepreneurs, people that are at the core of really making this new Area X.O a success, and that are here to share their experiences. So first and foremost, let me present you to Neil. I just want to make sure that everybody's on mute right now. Thank you. So Tanil Houston, who's the CEO of Auto Guardian by Smartcone Technologies. That's a startup that is using intelligent infrastructure to improve traffic flow and, most importantly, make our streets safe for all. Also, Jordan Wallace, who will be talking to us about precision agriculture. Looking forward to hearing from you, Jordan. This is certainly very interesting as you are working on developing equipment for progressive farmers. Amir Goods, who's the founder of and CEO of SMAT's Traffic Solutions. So he's also in charge of a tech company that focuses on intelligent traffic data for better traffic flow. Paul Rocco, who's the president of Provectus Robotics Solutions, which is a leader in advanced robotics working in different sectors, including agriculture, defense, security, and construction. And finally, Michael Tremblay. And at this point, we don't need to introduce Mike. So we all know him. So obviously, as the minister in charge of economic development, for me, it is inspiring to see all of you, but also my big focus is on job creation and how, as we're facing this pandemic and economic crisis, how can we really build back better and invest in new technologies that will create more jobs eventually and really position Canada as this, innovative country that is at the forefront of this economy that creates many opportunities for all. So it is great to see a very young and tenacious generation with us today. And of course, let's start with Tanil and then go to Jordan, Amir, and Paul. And I have a couple of questions for all of you. So Tanil, let's start with you. I know that you were in the video, we all saw you, and you were talking about the impact of L5, which is now, we know, Area X.O. You clearly, your company is in line with what is being tested and this new facility. So can you talk to us about this new investment, what it will change in your life and the life of your company, and how you think you'll be able to develop and use the potential of this new testing facility for your own work? Please go ahead.
Yes, thanks so much for your time. I'm so excited to be a part of this event and to be a part of what was L5 and what now is Area X.O for the last year and a half. Really, our company is here in part of what this entire collaboration has given us. So our parent company, Smart Cone Technologies, started off on the site and is still technology for worker safety. And basically through the support from Invest Ottawa and seeing how this technology can really focus and help change people's lives in that smart city tech space, we've been able to use this area to help test and further our technologies and build up Auto Guardian by Smart Cone. So it's really helped to create jobs for our parent company and even spin off into its first new subsidiary. That's hopefully going to create even more jobs as we get bigger. Having a space like this is something that you don't even think that you have some type of accessibility to something this large at such a small startup phase. So we have, you know, the poles out here with power, and the City of Ottawa works with us to help test our technology on it. We put sensor devices in the bike lane that is only one block past it. There's railroads. There's so many different spots that we can actually implement our technology and test. And then we also have the ability to plug it into the autonomous vehicles that are on the site. We've already worked with Origo. We're really excited for some upcoming work that will be announced at a later date, but there's a lot of really exciting things happening right here on site and extending for vulnerable road user safety and technology in a smart city environment.
Thank you for that, Tanel. And now let's go to Jordan. Jordan, you know, the area of precision agriculture is very promising, but I would say also intriguing to many of us. We've been talking a lot about autonomous vehicle, thinking about cars, but let's talk now about the potential of autonomous vehicle for the agriculture sector. You're a leader, an innovator in the industry. How will this new facility will help your business and your projects?
Thank you, Minister Jolie, for having me here. I mean, there's a lot of big technology pieces that come within smart agriculture. Precision agriculture is just a small component of it, but we're really excited at the Area X.O facility here to be able to test a lot of new technologies, technologies that help farmers in Ontario and Canada to be more environmentally stable, to bring new farming practices that can leverage not only autonomous vehicles and GPS technology, higher accuracy, but also the reduction in fertility and input costs that directly relate back to fertilizer efficiency, to input cost efficiency, and then, you know, a global environmental benefit as well, so that we are we're being recognized as leaders in the environmental phase, and we stop getting some of the terminology and the names that are kind of thrown around, that we're polluting our ground and that kind of stuff. So we're hoping to bring a lot of that technology to help that reduction in fertilizer again be more environmentally stable and help farmers lower their input costs and become more healthy. And there's a lot of technology that we're implementing here at the Area.XO facility to make that all happen.
Oh, that's impressive. And continue your good work, Jordan.
Thank you.
Now let's go to Amir. So Amir, you're also in the sector of autonomous vehicle and I would say, you know, developing new technologies to make sure that our communities are more efficient, but also safer. So what do you think? How will this new investment impact your company? And that was the question I asked Tanil. But also, I would say, how is your technology going to benefit people all across the country and the world?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Mr. Jolie. So we have talked about the connected vehicle technology, and just want to explain what that means to to us and to general public, that how this groundbreaking technology can improve road safety and mobility. So the connected vehicle technology that we are basically working on, it's based on talking vehicles to infrastructure and vehicles to vehicles. So it's going to bring a lot of information that can be used to improve traffic safety and mobility. And the Area X.O so has built a test bed both on the public roads and also private roads that SMEs like ours can test these technologies. So the two communications that have been built for this standard are 5G and DSRC. And these are like a low latency communications that are necessary for this application. So they are all available there for testing. And it's not something available elsewhere that you can find and do your R&D and product development and verification. So we have been using the Area X.O for building products, proof of concepts, and eventually to the commercialization of products around traffic mobility and safety.
Good, Amir. So let's talk to Paul now. Paul, this, L5 has been here for now more than a year, and we're investing a $7 million more to create Area X.O. You're in charge of a company that does advanced robotics in many fields. How do you think this will impact your business?
Well, let me start by saying, Mr. Jolie, thanks for participating in this. It's an honor to be part of this panel here. We arrived at the L5 site, I guess pre-L5, it would be September 2018, and we were all by our lonesome at the end of the building. So, nobody else, out here. And, now we're surrounded by a group of wonderful companies, new technologies. One of the things that's exciting to us is having the opportunity to leverage the experience, the expertise that these companies bring. We're constantly being challenged, to solve difficult problems, and we don't have all the answers. Sometimes we don't even know what we don't know. And knowing that there are, good companies, resource experts out there, industry-specific experts that we can leverage to help solve some of our customer problems is of definite interest to us. The facility has, helped us tremendously since some of the infrastructure was put in place. In particular, the Nokia private LTE network, public safety band. We talk about, with also now with the mobile command and control center and the ability to, show up in an area with no existing infrastructure, pop up, a network and be able to connect, not only first responders and people, but also vehicles, whether they be ground vehicles, drones, et cetera. And we've managed to leverage that technology here, obviously with COVID. Travel, isn't possible, and we've struggled in the early days, since March when everything was shut down, to support clients, whether they're field trials in other countries or doing training demonstration, and we've been able to leverage the infrastructure that Invest Ottawa and Nokia has put in place here to allow us to do remote demos. So our business development director, Jason Scheib, is able to host virtual demonstrations with clients all over the world. We have our unmanned ground vehicles at the now Area X.O site, and they're connected to the internet through our own network, through the Nokia network. And Jason, who's located in Kitchener, is able to control them. And through a video conference such as this, he shares his screen and people can follow along with those demonstrations. Same thing we did for field trials with clients, military clients primarily in other parts of the world. And the future for us and what this investment, I think, brings to us, the exciting part is leveraging the infrastructure that's in place here as we start to move from extreme terrain off-road robotics to on-road robotics. So we're able to, literally open up the garage door and, right in our backyard, we have all of the infrastructure in the private roads to allow us to take our technology, into that new market space. So we're very excited to be part of it. This investment, is very promising. And again, we're excited to participate.
Well, thanks, Paul. So let me ask you my next question, and then we'll go to Amir, and then we'll go to
sure.
You had more chance to think about the question, so that's why in the first round. So that's why.
Now I'm on the spot.
Leveling the playing field. How do you see the evolution of your company and your sector within, during COVID, but also post-COVID? And how can, we make sure all together that we are able to harness the potential of the advanced robotics and in general also everything in line with the mobility and autonomy of vehicles and of technologies?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So our mission, I'll say, is to leverage our autonomous navigation technologies across multiple industries to help our clients solve their safety, budgetary, and very specific to COVID labor challenges. And one of the things that we're doing is we're trying to find new ways to allow people to leverage autonomous technology to solve the problems they face now. So in the agriculture space, labor shortages, workers are sick, they're not able to to work in the mining area, the mining industry. Again, if workers are sick, they're not able, to do the work that needs to be done. We need to feed people. We need the natural resources that come from mining. And, our goal is to leverage the technology, the capabilities that we've developed to help companies, and to help Canada, we'll say as a whole, to be a global leader in these areas, to do the work that needs to be done. Do meaningful work without putting people in harm's way, solve the issues that they face. COVID has posed many challenges for us, as I mentioned, in training, demonstrations, doing the work we normally do. Having access to the infrastructure at Area X.O gives us the ability to continue our work, to continue to grow, and find new ways to solve the problems that were easy to do face to face in the past.
Thank you, Paul. Now let's go to Amir. Same type of question. We're in a pandemic. How do you see the evolution of your company as we're going through the pandemic and that afterwards as well? Because we know that now workers are working remotely from home. This changes obviously traffic flows within cities, but post-pandemic, clearly there will be more workers coming to cities. And there will be a balance between teleworking and on-site, workplaces. So how do you see your technology as our society, our country is evolving very quickly?
Sure. So basically, we are provider of traffic data. So the traffic data, that you use for, adjusting your signal, or you want to use it for traffic operation. So with the post-pandemic and, pandemic situation are different. So the thing is that once you have the data for making right decision, then you can actually deal with both scenarios. So the traffic has gone, much lower than before. So it's a kind of a good news. But we have seen a lot of high-speed accidents because people, tend to speed up, and there are kind of more accidents at the intersections. So I think this technology is still, valuable for improving safety, depending on whether we are in the pandemic situation or after that. But the key here is to having enough traffic data and adjust our infrastructure and system to adapt to those traffic. And that requires, infrastructure and, the testing facilities that, people, the cities come from having no traffic data to have a full coverage of traffic data, that they can make those adjustments and changes and be responsive to all the situations and scenarios that we have seen so far.
Thank you, Amir. Jordan. Well, across the country, Canadians are, very, very preoccupied with food safety and the importance of having strong supply chains, particularly in agriculture. A lot of Canadians are looking forward to buy local and value the importance of local products. At the same time, there are some strains on farmers as labor is sometimes an issue, and also, like I was saying, the free movement of goods can be a bit more complicated in this COVID era. Your technology is about creating more productivity and also making sure that there's a neutral effect on the environment of the use of different fertilizers. How do you see everything that is going on right now during this pandemic and also after the pandemic as an opportunity for your business and your technology?
Great question. I think we have a phenomenal opportunity to leverage the technology moving into a post-pandemic phase. I think during the pandemic, farmers are still acting the same way as they normally have. They have to continue to grow and produce food. They have to continue to grow and a crop to survive. We have to leverage the technology and keep track of all of the data that we're creating. There is huge data amounts that are being created on a daily and weekly basis. And that's one of the really neat opportunities that the people here at Area X.O got to kind of see this spring, was how much data we created in such a short period of time. When we were out, this spring we ran a soil optics toolbar across the fields here and captured 30 to 35 layers of data in different pieces and components. We ran our fertile stripping toolbar over the fields here and captured and recorded how much fertilizer, where it got put, what the accuracy was, what the total applied volume was, elevation, some of those kind of things, how fast we were driving. We were able to take all of that data, and because of the infrastructure that is here at the Area X.O facility, we were able to wirelessly stream that right from the field to the command center, which is where I'm sitting today. It's absolutely gorgeous in here. I wish you guys all could see it. It's giving us the tools that we can start making decisions now in agriculture and keep track of where our food is coming from and where it's being delivered to, and increase the amount of traceability that is coming to our consumers, the visibility that they have into where their food is grown from and where it is shipped to, and the tracking and the movement and that kind of stuff. I think food safety is going to be a really big piece down the line. But the next big step in that is the quality of the food. As we start looking at, improving our input costs and keeping farmers more sustainable and more healthy, then they can start investing into technology to make the quality of the food that they're producing better and healthier for us all to eat, right? Less input costs gives us the ability to produce, in a lot of cases, more crop and more viable food to eat. And I think that's where this is coming through. We have some immense opportunity here to work with other technology companies and providers to really work together and make everybody more profitable. And I think that's going to help strengthen our economy down the road here really quickly.
Thank you, Jordan, for that. That was very, very interesting. So, Tanil, Jordan has just mentioned, and obviously also Paul and Amir mentioned, the power of data, the importance of being able to have access to data. Because of the change of people's behaviors, data can be collected differently now than pre-pandemic. How do you think that you can adapt to that change of behavior, and also use your technology to really be relevant in this new post-COVID world where people will have changed their behaviors, but also will be very much looking to use new technologies as they've been able to do over the past months in a very, very, very rapid manner.
Well, I think there is so much room to grow, and especially having Area X.O to be able to test and further our technology. And you were mentioning before with traffic and a reduction in traffic lately, but now more than ever, people are changing their behavior and trying to walk and cycle to work, or just to get outside because everyone is stir crazy that they can't, go to a movie or go to the mall to waste time. And that's kind of really where I see our company, that's our strength. And right now it's one of those things where if we have our infrastructure up on a pole, we're already collecting that data, like we've already heard from multiple companies, right? The data is always there, and you always want to be aware of how the traffic is changing. And then we're adding on sensors that detect people and cyclists and count them and give the average flow. And then you can actually connect our infrastructure that's up on a pole to, flashing lights for audio and visual alerts in a bike lane. So that way, as you'd mentioned, maybe the roads are more open and people are speeding, maybe they're taking those turns faster, which put the cyclist even more at risk than before. So if you have this intelligent infrastructure, you have this twofold approach to collect data, help a city become smarter and safer, while at the exact same time using that data in real time with alerts to help, alert a motorist that there's a cyclist approaching an intersection within 100 feet and that they need to be aware. We extend that into these autonomous vehicle trials where you have, audio and visual torches, or what we call them smart torches, at every boarding area that can actually help to give advanced non-line of sight for route clearance where the shuttle is approaching. And then it can tell the rider that, the shuttle is approaching in X amount of time. Please remember to put your mask on when you're going, and make sure you keep your distance inside a vehicle. So it just really helps to spread those social reminders and keep people more visible and aware of everyone as they move about a corridor, which now more than ever, it's really, really important that we're all aware of what people are doing, how we're moving, and how things are changing. And I do want to say, like Paul mentioned, we've really been able to utilize Area X.O for those proof of concepts, that instead of having people fly in, we've been able to put stuff up on the infrastructure poles here, record video, and then send everything over. We're working on a really cool proof of concept right now where we have infrastructure detecting pedestrians, including cyclists, as they are in a blind spot in an intersection, and then connecting with an onboard unit in a vehicle to provide that vehicle advanced line of sight. And one of the companies is in the UK and the other is in California. So with the lack of travel, we've really been able to showcase what we can do and improving and moving forward our technologies right here on site. And lastly, just the assets. I think you guys saw in the demo the dummies. Those are very expensive and hard to operate. So instead of us furthering our technology and having, one of us nominate to run out and be detected, and now we can actually use this really cool technology to be able to say, okay, when exactly did our infrastructure piece pick up a person in a blind spot? When did the car pick it up? And what is the, additional time that we can give to alert people of their surroundings and keep people safer on roads?
Well, thank you, Tanil. That was very relevant, obviously. And I must say, as a former woman entrepreneur, it's great to see women entrepreneurs, particularly in the sector, as we're that we're highlighting today. Mike, I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm also offering you an opportunity to give last comments before we wrap up. So. We've had a conversation before all this morning. I told you that I wanted you to work more, and that's why we're investing more in Invest Ottawa. But also, please go ahead if you want to add anything to everything that Amir, Paul, Jordan, and Tanil just mentioned.
Yeah, so just two things really, Minister. And so firstly, again, our gratitude for the investment here. It will go a long way to helping our region compete in world markets. So that to me is really what today is about, and we're very grateful for that. But you also mentioned women entrepreneurs, female founders, women-owned businesses. This week, we have the final competition in Ottawa for the She Boot program. So I want to offer a commercial for that. That'll happen this week. And there will be a prize of $100,000 for one of our 10 contestants who will be pitching this week. So I wanted to let everybody know about that. But thank you so much to FedDev Ontario for the support, for your ministry, for your leadership. Thanks to all of our panelists for sharing their stories. The thing that I love about Area X.O is that it gives us the opportunity to tell real world stories, because we really do provide an environment to actually make them come alive. So thanks to all of our panelists for sharing those stories. And I really look forward to driving the future with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So thank you, folks. It's been a pleasure to share this moment with you. Keep it up, great entrepreneurs. Please continue to create jobs and take risks. And we'll be with you as an ally to make sure that you can really share your success with Canadians. So thank you all. And Sonia, up to you now.
Thank you very, very much, Minister, and to all of our panelists, to Neil, Paul, Amir, Jordan. It is such an honor to collaborate with all of you. You are the very reason that Invest Ottawa and Bayview Yards do what we do. It is all about your success, it is about your growth, and it is about helping you to bring your technology and your innovation to the world. Thank you for choosing Area X.O and for allowing us the privilege of supporting you in that goal. This does conclude our program for today. I want to echo Mike and say thank you to the Government of Canada, to FedDev Ontario, to all the partners, clients, stakeholders, and companies that make Area X.O what it is, and for joining us today. A big shout out to the industry partners that are actually exceeding, in terms of matching contributions, the value of the technology and expertise that matches this critical investment from the Government of Canada. Thank you so much for being a partner in delivering the world-class technology, the support and the expertise it takes to operate it and help all of these great companies to leverage it and put it to work to build Canada's economy. So to the Government of Canada, thank you for your generous support of Area X.O. Together, we will drive the future for our region, for Canada, and the world. Thank you. Visit us at www.areaxo.com. Thank you very much, everyone. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Au revoir tout le monde. Merci. Thank you all.